Benheim Thomas was always a good, albeit imperfect brother, consistently taking care of his elder brother Ryan throughout their lives. Blenheim always acted like the older brother, even though he was 2 years younger than Ryan. He often felt awkward playing this role, wishing he could have had an older brother. Technically, he did have an older brother in Ryan, but unfortunately, Ryan would never progress past the cognitive function level of an 8-year-old. It was another Saturday, and Blenheim was on his way to visit his brother Ryan. He visited him every Saturday at the SRO, single-room occupancy. This was similar to a nursing home and housed about 100 people, but it wasn't for older people. It was for individuals with mental health diagnoses like his brother. Every Saturday, like clockwork, he would show up. But this Saturday would be different for 2 reasons. Unbeknownst to his family, Blenheim had started dialysis. When Blenheim was a very young child, he had an operation on his kidneys. He didn't find out until he was older that they had removed his kidneys, because his absent-minded mother was too afraid of the confrontation of telling him. But she always drove him, even up to his 30s. Blenheim was driving up to his brother's SRO. It was about 1 p.m. Blenheim usually visited much earlier on Saturdays, trying to make a whole day of it. He typically visited around 10 o'clock or 11 a.m., with 11 o'clock being the latest. Unfortunately, this time was different. What was also different was that Blenheim usually took his brother out to breakfast, but there was no way he was going to get breakfast at this time, 1 p.m. So Blenheim stopped by a local McDonald's that had 24-hour breakfast and got him a breakfast platter. Then he hoped to take him to a baseball game. Blenheim parked his car in the parking lot, took the key out of the ignition, and walked in through the front doors. The receptionist said, "Hello, Blenheim. Are you here to see Ryan? We need to talk to you about Ryan." Blenheim noticed there was a lot of staff there for a Saturday. "No," he said to himself in his mind. Then Linda, one of the staff members that worked at the SRO, walked out. "Mr. Thomas, we need to talk to you about your brother." Blenheim couldn't think about what this could be about, so she brought him into the office. It was a dimly lit office with many cubicles in it, but nobody was at them since it was the weekend. Linda went to set up her cubicle, and Blenheim sat on the chair she placed next to the cubicle she was sitting in. She was in an office chair, and he sat in a regular old folding chair. Then she looked at Blenheim with a sad look on her face. "I'm going to have to tell you something about your brother. I don't think this is the appropriate level of care for him." Blenheim looked back, startled. "What do you mean? It's the highest level before—" He couldn't even finish his sentence. She interrupted. "We had an incident with him last week." Blenheim replied, "What incident?" "I'm sorry, but your brother has been very unmanageable lately," she said. "There was a night when we asked him to take his new medication. He did try. The new medication sometimes causes nighttime incontinence, and he has had a couple of episodes." Blenheim thought to himself, "I had the same issue and even had to buy myself some absorbent underwear for nighttime." He looked at the woman and said, "If my brother doesn't want to wear a pull-up, he doesn't have to." She sighed. "It's for everybody's well-being. We want to keep a hygienic and clean environment." Blenheim replied, "I'm sorry. I'm taking my brother out of here." He stormed out of the office as quickly as he could. He went to the elevator, the first one on the right, and pushed the button to go to the 3rd floor, the top floor of the building where his brother lived in the SRO. Blenheim was in the elevator, mumbling to himself, "These damn people take all his money and make more problems." As the doors of the elevator opened, he was hunched over and screamed in pain. The one kidney he had left was not doing so well, but he wasn't going to leave his brother in this rat's nest. The pain only lasted for about 30 seconds. Blenheim stormed down the hallway, finally reaching the last door on the left. He swung open the door of his brother's 200-square-foot SRO, which had a bed and a small TV. All the residents ate in a cafeteria every day for 3 meals, each meal being prepared way too early. When Blenheim swung open the door, he said in a stern voice, "Ryan, pack up your stuff. We're getting out of here now. I'm taking you home." Blenheim and Ryan packed his bags in a vigorous hurry, underwear, t-shirts, and everything else. Finally, Ryan held up a pack of unopened absorbent underwear. "Should I grab these, big bro?" Ryan asked. Blenheim said, "It's up to you." Ryan looked at him and said, No way, Jose. Blenheim told Ryan. Go to the car. I'll be down in a minute. Blenheim's kidneys were still in pain as he looked at the pack of absorbent underwear. He thought about grabbing them for himself, but they might be too big since his brother was quite a bit bigger than him. Then he thought to himself, better to have them and not need them than to need them and be without. He grabbed the pack and headed down to the car. He found a little plastic bag to cover up the special underwear, and then he saw an old paper bag in the hallway and had an idea. He put the pack of pull-ups in the paper bag to conceal that he was taking them home. He didn't want Ryan to feel uncomfortable in his house. On the way down, he felt a strong urge to use the restroom, so he went into the first restroom on the side. Because of the kidney disorder, he had to use it with great frequency. He just got there in time and barely made it, he thought to himself. The bathroom door was locked. It was a single-use bathroom. Damn it, he thought. I might need to use one of these underwear. So he takes off his pants and his boxer shorts and puts on the pull-ups. Damn it, he thinks. This is a little loose. Then he takes his boxers and puts them over his pull-ups to keep the pull-up in shape. It feels very bulky. These were extra absorbent ones. He buckles up his pants and slowly opens the bathroom door and heads towards the car, hoping nobody can tell what he's wearing. Ryan was patiently waiting in the passenger side seat of his car. Blenheim gets in and he's ready to drive. He looks at Ryan and says, "How's it going, Rye Guy?" Which was always the nickname that he gave his brother, a pet name as you will. He began to drive home to his house in the middle of the city, the deep, grungy part of the city, thinking the whole time about the pull-up he was wearing and if anybody could notice. Stopping at each light, when he stopped at the last light before his house, he needed to use the restroom. So he drove slightly more quickly than he usually did, urgently getting ready to use the bathroom. He finally hit the driveway of his home. He went to the side door as quickly as he could, with Ryan confused. He tried to unlock the door, wanting to use the bathroom, but it was too late. It was a good thing he had a pull-up on. He goes into the bathroom, changes out of it, and puts on a new one. He goes downstairs and says, "Welcome to your new home, Ryan.